Hey everyone, this is Tamara from shelfaddiction.com and welcome to another special live episode. We're here live today reviewing and recapping the latest episode of The Walking Dead Season 8. Whether you're listening live via Shelf Addiction or Spreaker, leave us a comment. We would love to hear your thoughts on last night's episode. If you enjoy live episodes, go ahead and share this on Twitter right now. Show your support by rating the podcast and leaving a positive review on Apple Podcasts or your listening app of choice. Joining me today is PCS co-host, fellow TV junkie, and indie author Lisa Orban. If you're listening to this episode after we're off the air, you can still leave a comment. You can also find me on Twitter at Shelf Addiction. You can also find Lisa on Twitter at Lisa Orban Author. If you'd like to email in feedback or questions, feel free to reach out to me at info@shelfaddiction.com or leave an internet voice message via SpeakPipe. The link is below in the show notes. Hey Lisa, happy Monday.
Hey Tamara, happy Monday back.
Thank you.
How you feeling?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing great because I came home and had a vodka tonic, so I'm feeling very good right now. It was Monday.
I'm still drinking coffee.
Oh. Yeah, I couldn't do coffee after work. I needed something to take the edge off because it's been one of those days. And it kind of still is one of those days, but we're going to just leave that alone.
It was 65 degrees outside today.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
It is December 4th, and it is 65 degrees. While I personally enjoy it, I find it terrifying. Okay.
Yeah. It didn't get that warm here in Michigan, but it did hit 52, and that alone is also terrifying for December in Michigan. So
I was outside. I didn't have a coat on.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with the world.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with the world.
Did you hear that it's supposed to drop, though? This is it for the week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they said tonight it's supposed to start raining here, then the temperature's supposed to drop 30 degrees. Yay.
Oh.
So,
oh.
And it's good that it's getting cold, but it's just, God, it's just so weird. It should not be December and no jacket. Not even a jacket. I didn't need a jacket.
Yeah. I know. Now, see, I don't mind the temperature dropping, but it better not snow. I'm not playing around. It better not snow. I'm just saying.
Mm-mm.
So.
I don't want snow.
No.
Well, we need the snow, but I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already looking forward to January going, how can I run away?
I know, right? Exactly. I've always said I would not mind a dusting of snow on Christmas morning so it looks pretty, It's all holiday-like, and it can melt Christmas night and never return until the next Christmas.
Well, I'm in farming area, I'm in the Midwest.
Yeah.
So the farmers, they want it to snow. They want lots of snow. If we got 10 feet of snow, they'd be thrilled, because of the water tablet. But, yep. So, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not a farmer, though, so I don't want 10 feet of snow.
Right. Exactly. All right, so let's talk about last night's The Walking Dead. Episode 7, Time for After. Okay.
I'm conflicted. I'm so conflicted.
Oh, I watched that whole episode, and I'm kind of like, was that it? I don't know. Some of the things were kind of stupid that were going on, in my opinion. I
think, you can tell that things are getting ragged around the edges. And Rick is not there to whip them all back together, and they're all feeling the loss from, the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And Daryl is still feral. So, and I love Daryl, but I'm feeling, and I feel very conflicted about what's going on with what they did, putting that truck through there, because they had a plan, and throwing that truck in and setting the walkers on them, number one, it kind of galvanized Eugene.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I can't say that I disagree with Daryl because they had him pinned, but the question was going to be for how long. because
Mhm.
they had Big Bertha, and if they had not disobeyed Rick, it would have gotten there and it would have drawn all the walkers away.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
and and you can see that Eugene was already trying to come up with a way to get them away, and he was going to use Sasha's um, iPod with speakers to do that. And if Dwight hadn't stepped
Yeah.
in, you know, his plan may have worked.
Well,
So,
okay, just stepping back to when they decided to, go against Rick. Like, I knew it was coming. I'm like, it's only a matter of time before there's an uprising and they're going to do what they want to do. So I kind of saw
right,
it coming. I just didn't expect it so fast. But I guess, when the boss is away, right? what
right.
else you going to do? But I don't know. I think it was a bad idea, like you. I think what they want to happen is not going to be what happens. Like,
Well,
it,
and I don't. It doesn't. It kind of feels like Rick's plan did not have a lot of built-in flexibility in it, which
mm-hmm,
is not good because any military personnel could tell you no plan survives first contact. It just doesn't. Things go awry. Things go wrong. Bad things happen. Unexpected things come up, and you have to have a certain amount of flexibility. You have to, and things have already started unraveling. When they lost everyone, the entire group except for three, with the kingdom, and when Jesus brought back all the prisoners, and so on and so forth. So there's been these, a lot of it has fallen into place, but a lot of it hasn't.
yeah.
So I kind
Like,
of want to be upset with Daryl, but at the same time, I can't necessarily fault him because the longer they stayed in there, the more likely they were to get out, if that makes sense.
well, that again plays into the stupidity that I think is going on in this series right now, which is Rick. Like, you go and you get yourself, locked up, you're a dang on
Mm-hmm.
prisoner trying to persuade these people that aren't trustworthy. And if you did have a contingency plan, you didn't share it with the watchers. You didn't
Mm-hmm.
say, well, if you don't hear back from me in 24 hours, do this. Or,
Mm-hmm.
because anything could happen, but that's like stupid. Again, like, he's off,
Right.
like, and how many days have passed? You know how I am with time. I'm like, how long
I
has
know.
it been? A day? 2 days? You're looking all sweaty and you're missing clothes, and what is going on? I'm like,
Yeah. Well, and then of course, at the very end of it, we have Rick. He's there with the junkyard people, and but all of the, all of the sharpshooters are gone. Daryl is gone.
yep,
Everyone is gone. There's nobody there.
yep,
So now, what's going on? Now, I'm
exactly.
hoping, cross my fingers, that Rick will show up in mass behind Negan, who is now at Alexandria.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, what happened to Morgan? What happened to the rest of the sharpshooters? What happened? Where is Daryl?
Mm-hmm.
Where is everyone that decided to stay? We know that
Mm-hmm.
they made it out, at least as far as they got the truck in there and then they made their escape. But the question is, where did they go? Did they go
Right.
back to Alexandria? Did they go to Hilltop? Did they go and join the sharpshooters and then they were routed by Negan's people? We
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
Yeah. I
And
mean, and Rick, he just looks so, like, confused. Like, what's happening? Where is everybody?
mhm,
And it's your own fault because you just expect people to just sit idly and just wait. And I was
right,
surprised, honestly, that Rosita was the one that said, "Just wait," right? It's
right.
like, what? You're the
Well,
hothead as well. That kind of shocked me a little bit that she was the
but I
voice
think
of reason.
right, but I kind of think that again, and she mentioned it. It goes back to, Sansa. Sorry, not Sansa.
Sasha,
Sasha. Thank
yeah,
you.
uh huh,
But because I mean, she took a calculated risk. I mean, she killed herself inside of a coffin on the hopes that she could turn things,
yeah,
and without knowing,
mm-hmm.
and so I think she's kind of made this realization that sometimes we don't get to know. And that's true. Sometimes you just have to wait it out. And that's the problem I think everyone's having right now is nobody wants to wait it out. Everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to participate. Everyone wants to do their own thing that they think is right, but not necessarily the right thing to do, which is part of the reason I'm feeling a little conflicted, because Daryl had no idea what was going on inside.
Right.
He did know about Big Bertha, and thank God they stopped him from that. But again, they could have used the truck as last resort, I guess. If they notice him starting to get out, if they got a message from Dwight, if they seemed to be rallying. At that point, yes, keep that truck in reserve. Be there just in case.
Mm-hmm. But even with all of that, it still irks me that we don't know what the plan is. Like, we still don't know what was the original plan. What was supposed to happen? We have nothing still.
I believe, and from what the little bits and pieces, I think what it was is everyone was supposed to meet at the sanctuary at a specific time. And I think, like the next day or whenever, about the time that Rick showed up. Because Rick expected to be the first one there with the junkyard people. And he says, and we will wait for my people to show up.
Yeah.
And then everyone was supposed to gather there. They were supposed to have a show of force and basically tell the people inside sanctuary, you need to surrender and we will get you out of there, but only if you surrender.
Yeah.
And I think that was the plan, that they were going to wait them out until they got to desperation and basically told the workers to turn on, Negan's group.
Yeah.
So, and it is, and we did kind of get this interesting thing going on though, because as people were coming to, Eugene, and they all basically were saying the same thing. I'm not here by choice. I'm here because I didn't have another choice to make, or all my options were taken from me, or Negan snatched us up.
Yeah.
I'm not saved.
Yeah.
I'm stranded. And, I can't remember, she's supposed to be one of Negan's wives, even said to Eugene, you're feeling it now too. That's why, he needs 1.5 ounces of alcohol at night to sleep.
Well,
1.5.
I think her name was Tanya, if I remember correctly. But, she calls him out. She's like, this is your fault. Like, we could have stopped this, and you didn't want to help us because you were thinking about yourself. She calls him straight out.
Right, and that's happened to, and that was kind of happening to Eugene all throughout.
Yeah.
One way or another, and it was the doctor said that to him, more or less. And, Father Gabriel, while crouched in much nicer terms, even said the same thing. I know that in the end you will do the right thing, Eugene.
No, he won't.
He won't. But, he was trying to appeal to his better angel, but Negan's wife, Tanya, was her name, you said?
Yeah, Tanya, I think.
Because I can't remember. But, but each person that he, and Dwight said the same thing. Each person that he had this interaction with, the only person who was convinced of their absolute rightness is Negan. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course Negan's like, put her right there, kind of thing. You're second most powerful man. So it's only Negan is seeing this as a good thing, and everyone else is looking at Eugene going, we're not here because we want to be. The only two people that apparently want to be here are you and Negan.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I can't stand Eugene still. And even though they tried to, I feel like they tried to make him where people kind of felt some empathy toward him. I didn't. I'm like, screw that guy, man. Like, just die. Just go outside and get eaten by the walkers because you are the worst. I just don't like him.
I'm screaming at the TV. Someone shoot him in the head or get, somebody eat him. Something. Terrible death.
Like, that character, I can't. Like, I understand wanting to survive, right? They all want to survive. That is why they have chosen to do the things that they're doing, because they want to survive. But he just seems like the lowest common denominator. Like, You really have no pride at all, no self-worth at all. You just do whatever.
Yeah. Well, and he even admitted that, towards the end of the episode, and made that declaration. I know.
Yeah.
I want to survive. I will put, I will always put myself first. And he said that blatantly. I will always put myself first.
Yeah, he did.
So, I mean, at least he's honest with his, selfishness, I guess. Not that it endears him anymore to me right now. I held out this hope. God, I held out this hope for him. And I think that's why I am so bitterly disappointed in him right now, is because I put a little bit of faith in Eugene. I thought, oh, he's growing as a person. He's becoming a better person. He's trying, kind of like Father Gabriel. I thought it was going to be kind of like that. No. He has disappointed. He probably has been the biggest disappointment to me as a character, that I feel, because everyone else has either kind of stayed true, or you could always tell what was going to, where they were heading, I guess. But Eugene he didn't even feel bad about what he did, because as long as he could save his own hide, he was fine with it. And I still can't get over being mad at him.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. You mentioned he doesn't feel bad, but I kind of think he doesn't feel bad in a way, but yet he needs wine to get to sleep. I'm like, okay, so if you don't feel bad about what you're doing, if you feel like you're justified in protecting yourself and what you're doing, why does it seem like you have a guilty conscience? Why do you need to drink yourself to sleep? Like, I
think because we all kind of operate on two different levels, and then I think deep inside, I think Eugene knows what he is doing is wrong. He doesn't want to confront that part of me. He's too much of a coward. Because to confront that part that knows that he is doing the wrong thing means that he has to change what he's doing. So he will not look there. And he will, hide it in alcohol. He will hide it in excuses. He will hide it. I think, so on the surface he doesn't. And he justifies his actions by saying things like, we were not friends. We were traveling companions.
Yeah.
And he is saying this about people that
saved him,
even died to keep him alive.
Yeah.
So, to downplay their role in his life, to downplay what they meant to him, really, I think he is trying so hard to distance himself from them emotionally as well as physically that, there is that little bit of guilt, and that's why he has to drink at night, but it's not enough to make him bring it to the surface and examine why he feels that way. Because he'll avoid it.
To me, that makes it even worse, because on one side, he does say, yes, I'm only thinking about myself. He does acknowledge that. But on the flip side, like you said, he downplays relationships he's had. If he wants to be the you-know-what person, then just own it. But like, yeah, so what? People help me. I don't care about that. Like, why do you have to downplay that? You're on one end, you're admitting what kind of monster you are. You're admitting what kind of person you are. Why not own it all the way? I mean, what's up with that?
Yeah, he very much. Yeah, I mean, he very much has a mercenary mentality. I don't have friends. I have people who pay me. As long as you pay me, I will be your friend.
Yeah.
But if the money runs out, or in this case, the comforts run out, I think he is just as likely to flip on Negan. If Negan loses it and he can't maintain, and so on and so forth, Eugene's loyalty, lasts only as long as the physical gratification does.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So, which, if I were Negan, that would worry me. That would worry me a lot. And it would be something I would take into consideration because, again, he's not, he's not a fellow traveler. He is a mercenary at heart.
Well, Negan is so full of himself. He is confident that he can scare anyone into doing his bidding. And he probably thinks he's so chicken, he would never turn on me because of what I could do to him.
Right. And I don't think Eugene would ever do anything head on.
Yeah.
Okay, unless he was pushed to desperation. But if he could slip away, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
when no one was looking, I
Yep.
definitely think he would. So yeah, I mean, Eugene, just because of the kind of person he is, and in at this point, even him acknowledging that he's that kind of person, that isn't really it's not a bonus for him. It's just him further sliding down this path that, you know, um, he can never be trusted with anything at
No.
at this point from
No.
anybody.
I mean, and if he survives this and somehow gets back with Rick's group or, Maggie's group or wherever, they're so sympathetic. They would take him back. They would take him back, but you just know you can't trust him as far as you can throw him. Like, if
I hope
something
if
bad
he shows
happens, I'd
back
be
up,
looking at him first.
yeah. If something bad happens, I would. If I were him, or if I were Maggie, or any of them, I would say, fine, you can come back, but then I'd throw him in with Gregory.
Right. Go sit in that cell. There you
With
go.
Gregory, because I mean, because him and Gregory are very similar. The only real difference between him and Gregory is the fact that, um, because of how Eugene is, and I really think he is he is on the spectrum of autistic, so he doesn't really engage,
Yeah.
and he doesn't get that nervous flighty thing, and he is fairly smart, unlike Gregory. But at heart, they are both essentially the same person. They're cowardly. They're self-serving.
Mm-hmm.
They put themselves in front of anybody else.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if he wants to come back, that's fine. But he can be bunkmates with Gregory for the rest of his life.
I'm
They
really
can let him out
hoping.
under supervision.
Look, I'm
You
really
know,
hoping that he just doesn't get a chance to come back because whatever has happened to those people, I hope he bites the dust. I mean,
mm-hmm.
whatever
Yeah,
has happened, wherever they have gone, I hope that he just dies in the process somehow. But
yeah,
I'm not that lucky. He'll probably make it through
yeah.
just to
Well,
annoy us another day. So,
yeah, because in a way, the sad thing is that actually in a way makes Eugene more dangerous than Negan, because you know you can't trust him. He could turn on you, and he's smart enough that he can figure things out. And he comes up with some good ideas, and like he did with the kite plane thing that he came up with, and other things. So he has abilities, he has talents, but the problem is because he has no loyalties, he's extremely dangerous. It's like keeping a pet viper.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
So let's switch gears just a little bit because we got a
yeah.
little glimpse of Father Gabriel. And so we find out
Mm-hmm.
that he has a nasty infection from being
Mm-hmm.
covered in all the walker innards and such. Yuck.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Yep.
do you think he'll make it through or do you think he's just going to bite the dust?
I don't know. I I think they're gonna. I don't know. I kind of think they're gonna let Father Gabriel linger on, at least for right now. I know in my heart there is going to be a major shakeup on because next week is the finale. It's the 90-minute finale.
Yep.
The director has already said that the ending is shocking. So now, whether that means a shock as in it's gonna put the Alexandrian group back on their heels, or it's just going to be so far out of left field, it's we're going to be excited, shocked. I have no
Or they're
idea.
going to kill a major character shocked.
Right, or they're going to kill a major character. So I'm kind of going through. I'm pretty sure Carl's going to make it. Okay,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of wonder if maybe like Michonne might be a good candidate. Because we know that Negan and his group has shown up at Alexandria. They're banging on the door. Now I did see a sneak peek, and shows them basically scrambling everyone together and sneaking them out of or attempting. They're starting to attempt to sneak people out of Alexandria. So a few might stay behind to try and slow down Negan's group. Maybe Michonne is one of them and dies. It would be a possible scenario. you know.
Well, let's not forget though, even if they all go, they go there and they try to get all the Alexandria people,
Mm-hmm.
Dwight's still a sleeper cell right now. Eugene has not
Right.
told. He's still with
Nope.
them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a shot of like him killing Negan or disabling him, or there's a shot that he could help them in some kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Right. You know, you know, he might have been able to get a message off to,
Mm-hmm.
one of the other groups or something. We
Yep.
don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah. But like I said, if there's going to be a big death, I am kind of leaning towards Michonne right now because there's been a big deal about, between Rick and in last season, about his anxiety about losing her and how important she was to him, and not being able to lead without her, and she was his rock, and yada 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 yada. So they have really built that up,
Mm-hmm.
and then we almost lost her, when they thought that she was the one that had been thrown from the window and was badly beaten, and I don't know, it just feels kind of like they're setting it up for her to be the one. I hope not. I really hope not, because I love Michonne so much.
Yeah.
I love her character. And it just wouldn't be the same without her, man. Her and her sword and,
I know.
badass attitude. And
I agree. I hope it's not her, because I'm telling you, I cannot take one more breakdown of Rick. Like, this guy, he is so fragile in some ways. It's like,
he is.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. He'd be like in a daze for half a year if she died.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what
Right.
he would do.
Well, and the bad thing is at this point, all the leaders at this point, they are all damaged, except for Maggie. Maggie's the only one that seems to be pulling through okay. But I mean, the king, he's out for the count right now.
Yeah.
Daryl again is still in that feral state that I really hope he comes out of at some point in time, because I love him so much, and he is not dealing very well with what happened to him when he was with the Saviors.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And if Rick has this breakdown, and Morgan has decided kill them all, like God sort them out, and so right now Michonne is the only one of the was one of the very few ones left to hold the whole group together. It's her and Maggie, and
yeah, that's why they shouldn't kill her. I mean, they shouldn't. They should not kill her off. This group needs her, and I mean, she hasn't had that much screen time this season, but
yeah. And generally, if they're going to kill a character off, they give them a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
So
maybe we should think that way. Who's been on the screen a lot? Who's had a lot of scenes?
Carol.
Mm.
Morgan.
And Eugene. Eugene's got quite a few.
Yeah. Morgan has, Eugene's gotten quite a bit of airtime too.
Yeah. But we know they're not killing Morgan because he's going to another show. He's safe.
Right. That's why I said we know he's going.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would, maybe Jesus has gotten quite a bit of playtime compared to the others. So, I don't know. I mean, if we go by airtime, I guess that would be the list right there, because we haven't seen a lot of Carl. We haven't seen a lot of Michonne.
No.
We haven't really seen a lot of most of the rest of the Alexandria characters, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'd be Rick, Daryl, Carol.
Maybe Tara.
Maybe, she hasn't gotten a lot. She got a little bit, but not really all that much. Jesus got a lot more than she did.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't be sad if he died. I know that sounds horrible, how I said that just now, but it's a character.
I know.
It's a character.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, I understand where Jesus is coming from. I don't hate him like I hate Eugene.
No, I don't hate him. I just don't care about him. That's the difference.
Yeah. I do. I don't know. I just there's something about Jesus. He's a nice middle of the road character. He's calm. He's not excitable. Mm-hmm. He doesn't fly off into the deep end. He's never really he's not Rick. You know?
Well, I might be in the minority
you know?
here, but that sounds like snooze fest to me.
Yeah, but you need people that are steady and dependable. You
That's
do.
Michonne. She's steady and dependable.
Well, yeah, I guess.
You're like, I can't dispute that.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, but she has her moments where she goes rogue as well.
Yeah.
Does her own thing. But then again, so does Jesus. So I don't know. I mean, I do kind of I like Jesus. He's a nice counterweight to me to Rick and a lot of the other and the other characters that have these really high and low emotions. He's like the sane among the bipolars.
Mm.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, except he's just all in this. Let's just do everything the right way. And that's going to get him killed. I mean, yeah, we've had this discussion a couple times over now. So, but I still feel like that's going to get him killed. I mean, there's someone ready to jump out and start some crap in the little group right now. So I'm not holding out hope for him.
I'm kind of thinking, this over now that you kind of pushed a few buttons. They do seem to like to kill off like the moral compasses of the show. If they have any kind of moral compass or moral authority or the voice of reason, they like to kill them off. Herschel comes to mind. Glenn comes to mind. They're going all the way back to the very, very beginning. I can't remember his name. The guy, the RV. I cannot remember his name for the life of me right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I can't remember his name. Oh, me neither. But times like this, I wish I knew the comic books in depth. But because we're kind of like just talking about this by way of just the watcher that enjoys it. We're not like the go hard, read all the comics people. So, but times like this, I wish I did kind of know the story a little better, so I kind of would know what to expect a little more. Because if you remember Glenn, I do know Glenn was supposed to have died like long before he actually did in the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah.
And I mean Daryl, he's not even a real character. So
right. So they can do anything they want with him, which I think is part of the reason they him.
Yeah.
Partly that, and partly because people would rebel. But I'm kind of wondering if they're trying to make him just a little bit more unlikable, which might be part of the reason he's doing a lot of this stuff, because they're thinking about getting rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's going to happen now. But yeah, now that I'm kind of, thinking about it, it might be Jesus. Yeah. It might be Jesus. He fits the criteria. He's a frontline character, but he's not. He doesn't hold the high viewer response that a lot of them do. He's kind of in the moral compass and the voice of reason and calm. And God knows they that those people can't survive on this show.
Yeah, right.
So it might be Jesus.
It might be. I think that's a good contender. I'll co-sign on that one. That's a strong contender to go.
Yeah. Based on reasoning. Not that reasoning has anything to do with this show.
Yeah.
But just based on how they have done in the past and how they've gotten rid of various characters, anyone who becomes too much of the moral authority or voice of reason tends to get killed off.
Well, I know one thing. With how low-key these last few episodes have been, I want this mid-season finale to deliver in a big way. I'm going to be disappointed if it doesn't, especially when they try to serve it up to me and sell it to me like, oh, you're going to be so shocked. I mean, I feel like it adds a layer of expectation when they try to serve it up like that. They better deliver.
Yeah. And now I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. In theory, I could find out. I have a friend, but I won't let him give me I won't let him give it to me. I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you know too much, you can't enjoy the show and watch it, because you're like, oh yeah, that's happening. That's going to happen. Kind of thing.
Exactly.
But, so yeah, I don't know. I do know they can't do, because this is the mid-season finale. It's not the finale. I don't, I don't think they're going to
I don't know, Lisa. They've had really like shocking
Yeah,
cliffhanger mid-season finales in the past.
they have. I mean, we can assume. Okay, certain assumptions we're going to make. Someone is going to die. Right now, let's vote for Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea, but voting for Jesus. We can assume that Alexandria gets not necessarily leveled, but at least routed. And I can see Negan being, you know, the kind of person he is, instead of claiming it as his own and his new base, burning it to the ground just because he's pissy.
Right.
So they may lose Alexandria altogether,
Yeah.
which would be a shame. Although, considering the losses that Alexandria has had and the losses that the kingdom has had, it would make sense for the people of Alexandria to actually go to the kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but like I said, we can kind of assume that Alexandria is going to be lost, period, one way or the other, maybe
Mm-hmm.
permanently or temporarily.
Right.
We know that Rick is going to be hard on their heels. He's going to figure out, he's going to panic, he's going to run to Alexandria, or at least that's my assumption. Because if Negan gets out, the first place he is going to go is to Rick because of this rivalry they have between the two of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that Carol is going to rally the king, and I think at the end they're all going to meet up in that general location of Alexandria as opposed to Sanctuary.
You know what I hope to see? I really want to see a round table of all of the groups against Negan. I want to see that conversation where they have to regroup and come together because so many things have gone wrong, and they kind of just realign. I want to see that. I don't want it to be in the background and then all of a sudden all these people are doing all these different things. They don't have to lay out the plan for us, but to just see them all in the same space talking about it, kind of like even a little bit. Like, it doesn't need to be all big and dramatic, but I think that would kind of seal the holes for me.
Yep. Now, I did find out that, and did we talk about this last week? I do know that the friend that Carl made, he does actually play a part and goes on to helping them mend fences with
Oceanside. Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I couldn't remember if we had or not. Mm-hmm. So, we know that he makes it.
Right, he makes it. I mean, and I feel like he's got a purpose, and we talked about that a little bit as well. His possible role as far as Carl is, like ties into Carl. So, I mean, he's safe.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure at this point Carl is safe as well. Because he hasn't gotten a lot of playtime this season, but you can tell that they are grooming him for his role as a leader in this group. Mm-hmm. He is no longer running off. He's not doing stupid things. He's actually seriously trying to think things through and do the right thing, which is, so he is maturing and growing up, which is nice to see,
it is.
So I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much where I'm going to kind of end my assumptions. I think they're all going to end up somewhere in the vicinity of Alexandria. There is going to be some kind of I don't think necessarily showdown, but there's going to be a something,
Yeah, and I'm not going to make any assumptions because I just feel like anything could happen. But I do feel like yours are pretty solid, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We know
and of course
anything.
I could be completely wrong on everything.
Yeah, but they make sense and it sounds solid. But they've done a 180 on us before, so
exactly. And like I said, I mean, as much as I hate to say, Jesus, I'm saying that he is a good candidate just because of past actions, and again the same thing with the Sanctuary. It's they have lost. Or not Sanctuary, but Alexandria. And I am sure right now that Negan is pissed that he has lost his Sanctuary, so he doesn't want to leave Alexandria theirs.
No, he's going to do everything in his power to take them down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be, if they opened up the doors and they let him kill somebody and gave him Rick, he'd probably let them keep their house, but they are not going to do that. They're not going to surrender, they're not going to give up, and, they're going to try to escape, and that's going to just irk him.
Yeah.
So, but again, we have Rick behind, and we've got, and again, we still don't know what happened to Daryl, and we don't know what happened to the Lookouts, and we don't know, who knows what at this point. Although we can pretty much assume that Alexandria was completely taken by surprise.
Right. Or, I mean,
So,
and hopefully they will give us, a clue about that in the beginning of the episode, kind of like flashback mode, maybe, to let us
yeah,
know what happened. Hopefully.
hopefully.
Because
So
I
yeah,
really don't
but
need
that's
any more holes. I mean, I know there's going to be a cliffhanger, obviously. I know it's going
right.
to be more questions, obviously. But some of these basic things that need answers, I hope that some of those holes are filled.
Yeah. Now here's a good question: do you think the junkyard people are going to stay bought?
Oh, honestly, that is really a flip of a coin. It really is.
It is.
I think the fact that Rick did beat Jada, did defend himself and bring her down, even with all her people, her people with her, I think that might have actually scared her. Like,
yeah, you could see it in her face when she was face to face with that zombie head.
yeah. So it's possible that she might have been scared into staying on the straight and narrow with Rick's group, but anything can happen with that chick. Like, there's no telling. I don't know. I don't even know. I'd like to say she stays with Rick's group because they really need them at this point, but who knows what's really going to happen.
Yeah. I kind of think that Rick has gained a certain amount of respect from her that he did not have at all before. She didn't care one way. She was going to use him and discard him like the rest of the trash heap.
Yeah.
But by him beating everyone when he was pretty much naked and should have been defenseless, and to bring her down like that in front of her people and scare her as much as he did, and the absolute confidence that he spoke with her, we will come and get you. I am walking out of here. These were statements. These were not questions. These were not, these were absolute statements of fact. And she does know he's working with other groups. So even if, like, they go and they do to get, the Alexandrias, saved, she knows that there are other groups that are going to be on their way because they've already come.
Yeah.
And she has no idea what happened to the Kingdom group. So she still assumes that they're 100% strong. He's not told her any different.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I kind of think for now, he has her backing, but I don't know. I don't think she'll flip during the battle, but she is going to be a long-term problem.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even if she doesn't, like you suspect, even if she stays on the straight and narrow for this battle, because like I said, I think she's scared right now.
Right.
Later,
she's so too.
Yeah, she's gonna be a problem again, even if she stays on the straight and narrow this time. It's not going away.
Right. She is going to be a long-term problem because she can't, again, like Eugene, she's a mercenary.
Yeah.
She doesn't have alliances. They have kind of an alliance with each other inside the junkyard, but even that's strange. I really want to know the story behind them because they are so odd. And you could throw Eugene in with them, and he would just fit right in.
He would just follow right along. He is such a follower.
Well, it's not just that, but, I mean, if you think about it, if you look at Eugene and you look at her group as a whole, they are all kind of like Eugene.
Except
they don't say a lot. They don't emote. They don't have these attachments like you should. They're very odd.
Yeah, but Eugene won't get his hands dirty. They will.
Yeah, which is probably about the only difference between the two. But again, if Eugene had somehow managed to stumble into their group and was accepted as one of their own, he would have taken to it like a duck to water. My people. They are just weird. They are just weird, and I want to know why.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm saying to the writers of this show, at some point in time, you have got to tell us about the trash can people. Okay, I have to know. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, give us some flashback. Give us some dialogue of what happened, if nothing
Yeah.
else.
You know, give us some, a Jadis flashback of, of anything. Come on. Because
Honestly, they could probably tell their story in 60 seconds if they were smart about it.
yeah. And because I don't know if you noticed this or not, but this is the only group that they have never given any backstory on.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. We get backstory on everyone and everything else. Nothing. Not a word, not a whisper, not anything about these guys.
Yeah.
Not how they came to be or anything. And it's really, it's kind of driving me nuts. Because there's a story there. And I'm still going with the insane asylum. The inmates are now running it. Literally.
I could believe it. Now, I just had one more thought, like for the next episode that could be shocking, but in a different kind of way. I feel like Dwight's wife could show up again somehow. Some way.
Yeah, but I don't think that would be enough to justify the director coming, oh, it's shocking.
Well, I mean, I agree, but I think that they could throw that in the mix.
Unless she brings, like, Oceanside with her.
Or unless she, I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing things out there. Like, I don't want to forget things because you never know. Things can just pop back up. So,
well, I mean, she is a woman. She is traveling alone. She could have gotten picked up by the Oceanside people.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, because that would be shocking. The Oceans, I mean, and I've been kind of wondering in the back of my head if they would voluntarily show up at some point. But that would be kind of a, for people that would be kind of a shock. His wife showing up with the Oceanside people and, coming to their rescue at the last minute and, defeating Negan's group, not necessarily Negan. I don't think that whatever happens, Negan will survive to next, the rest of the season.
He probably will. I doubt he'll die. I absolutely
believe that.
Yeah.
So, but they may end up crushing his group. And I could see him running away with Eugene. Him and Eugene.
Oh, wow. How dreadful.
I know, right? So anyway, but yeah, so that would actually, it would be a shock. It wouldn't be a bad shock. I'm sure we're still going to lose somebody, probably Jesus. But that would actually be really nice if, the Oceanside people showed up to turn the tide.
I keep waiting on them. I'm like, they're gonna show up eventually. I mean, they didn't introduce them for nothing. They will show back up eventually.
I mean, they introduced them to get the guns.
Yeah, but they're so close proximity-wise, they can't just, like, forget them. It's not like they move to a different state again,
Right. Well, and like I said, I mean, in the comics, they do send Saeed, to go and be their, ambassador, I guess, in between, whatever. But it would really be nice to have them show up in this finale and just, get revenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. It would be nice. It would be nice. I don't know if I don't know what the odds of that happening are, but it would be nice.
Honestly, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be all of these things, some of these things, or none of these things.
Exactly.
So, who knows? So, before we wrap up for the night, let's rate the episode. What would you rate yesterday's episode?
I don't know. I'm having a hard time. I mean, I'm conflicted by a lot of the actors, motivations and stuff, but I did enjoy the episode because I thought it was pretty solid. A lot of stupid things are happening, but people are stupid and stupid things happen. I kind of expect that. I don't know. I kind of want to say a 3.5,
I'm like a whole point less than that. I'd give it like a 2.5, and if I'm being generous, a 3. I don't know, just something about that episode didn't really click for me all the way, and a couple did, in more than one way. And like I said earlier, I felt like a lot of stupid things were going on, which kind of annoyed me more than anything.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of, I don't know, that didn't bother me because I've been expecting people to start doing some stupid things, especially now that Rick is not there to herd them. And with the king pretty much out of commission, there's really nobody there to keep everyone on task. You know, Maggie is there, but she's got her hands full, and she doesn't really leave Hill Tower that much. You know, so people are starting to do their own thing, and for what they think are right reasons, but not necessarily so. So I don't know. I mean, I didn't find any fault per se in this episode. I thought it was interesting because we had a lot of time with Eugene, and basically, you know, the rest of the world telling him in not so many words, "You're stupid."
And I give zero, you know what's about Eugene, so I don't know. I feel like these were not the characters I needed to see. I would have liked to see more time with Michonne. I would have liked to see more time with, you know, maybe Daryl and Tara talking with them about what they were doing. Yeah. Or, I don't know. There were a lot of different things I think I would have enjoyed better with this episode.
But you just hate him so much right now you can't even stand him on the TV.
Something like that, probably.
I understand. I get it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to go with like a 3.5. It's definitely not my favorite. I did enjoy it. I thought it was, you know, it had some interesting points were made and stuff, you know, but yeah, 3.5.
Alrighty. All right. So do you think we're done talking about this episode?
I think so.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks everyone for listening. Those of you that happen to take the time to tune in live, we appreciate you. And if you're listening to this on the replay later, then thank you for downloading and streaming. And we will be here next week for the mid-season finale recap. So
that's right. 90 minutes, man.
Yeah. So be here, be square, because you want to talk about the end of this, you know, mid-season finale, because then it's off for like...
Because they're promising...
Go ahead.
Because they're promising something spectacular, you know.
Yeah.
So,
and I say promise in quotes because I'm going to be mad if it's not something spectacular, and I will express that, as you guys know.
Oh yeah, we both will.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. So that's it. We're going to call it a night, and we will catch you guys on the next Pop Culture Sunday. And if you're just here for The Walking Dead, we'll talk to you guys on Monday. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed today's The Walking Dead special live episode and you would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcast and leave a positive 5-star review. You can follow both myself and Lisa on Twitter. Please follow the Shelf Edition podcast on Spreaker, the only place where you can listen live and get broadcast notifications so that you never miss a live episode. Most importantly, you can share this podcast with friends and family that enjoy The Walking Dead. Thank you for listening, and until next time, happy viewing.